again, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to every one of us. Depends on where you are. So, welcome to MTH 232. So, let me share my screen, and I'll also be writing some of those stuff, and that we can also be part. Now, can you see my screen, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, I would not give us too much story, since we all have the course material. Please mute yourself. Are we good now? Yeah. So, like introduction says, basic concepts we need to know. What are the basic concepts we need to know in the differential equation? Let me just, you have the material with you. I will not be reading material. This is mathematics. So let's look at it together. What are the basic concepts we need to know? We need to know what is the differential equation. What is, when we say differential equation, what does it mean? The differential equation is an equation that contains one or more derivatives of an unknown function. The order of the differential equation is the order of the highest derivative that is contained. That is contained. Meaning, when I'm talking about highest differential equation, I will also be part of it. I'll also move to that. When we're talking about differential equation, we're talking about the y, the x. That is, where we have the y, the x equals to function of x, looking at the function of x, or some people put it this way, y prime equals to of function of x. Why some also put it as y dot function of x. We are still talking about differential equation. When you read some books, they will put it y dot. Some will put it this way and the other way. Then that one now lead us to another differential. We have, when it become more than one variables, when you have more than one variables, then we will be talking about partial differential equation, which is involved the partial derivative as a function or one or more than variables. So when we're talking about what is f, in this case, f is a known function of x. It's a known function of x. So let's take note of all these definitions. They are very key in our day-to-day activities, and they are very key in what we are going to be discussing. So that when you consider this, consider differential equation. When you consider differential equation, when you have y raised to power n, we're talking about the function of x, y prime. Remember when I said y prime, I'm referring to the y, the x. I can say y prime prime, that is second derivative, like that, till you reach a particular place. So at this point, I can say I also have y raised to power n minus 1, where at least one of the function is y and another function is y prime, like that, y raised to power 1 over n. So in this case, this one would not lead us to different orders we are looking at. We could be looking at different order. If I give you this question, if I said, okay, when we are talking about orders, what do we mean by order? When we're talking about partial derivative, what is partial derivative? From our textbook, I believe you've read a lot about all those things. But I want to assume that you know what is order, definition of order. So we have it to be the order. Now let's say definition now. So is the order of a differential. I will be using DE when I mention differential equation. The order of differential equation is the order of the highest is the order of the highest order. Highest order derivative. So appearing in the equation. Now, when we are talking about order that appear in the equation, what are we saying? For example, if I have e.g., if I have y prime plus y equals to s squared, what order can we call this? You can unmute yourself.
Second order.
Second order.
Second order. Why is it second order?
Because of the y double prime.
Why? Because of the
highest.
Yeah, it has the highest.
Highest derivative. That is, we can also write this one by saying d square y, the x squared plus y equals to x squared. We call it second order. Then that's one. Number two, I can have another one by saying that in brackets y plus x raised to power the y, the x raised to power 4 minus 1. What is the order of this? Yes? Anybody?
Yeah, the order is 1, sir.
The order is 1.
Some others say 1, some people say 4.
No,
Why is it 1?
First order 4th degree.
First order 4th degree. That means we have it first order to the
4th degree.
Of 4th degree.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So we have first order 4th degree. Sorry. And you have to be careful. All we are aiming at order is differential. It's not all about the degree that is carried, or it's not all about the power it carries. But that particular differential derivative, what does it carry? Please mute yourself. When you know you have a background voice where you are, please mute yourself. So now let's look at this. If I have number 3, if I say let's say the fifth the y, the x, the fifth, all raised to power 2 plus 2 the square y, the s, let's say 4, minus, let's say the y, the x plus s raised to power 10 equals to 0. So tell me, which order is this? Anybody?
Fifth order, sir.
Is what?
Fifth order.
Fifth order. The order is of order fifth order, because we all know that our differential carry this. Now, that's just how to identify order. Please be careful when some of the question is coming to you and to know. Now, let's look at it. The square. Now, we know when we are talking about the degree in this case is of the highest exponent. Exponent means when you have something raised to power. The power is what we call exponent. So the degree of the highest exponent of highest order of differential equation, or of highest order derivative appearing in it after the equation has been expressed in the form of free from radical. What is radical? Radical is the square root we normally call radicals and any fractional power of derivative. For example, what they are saying here is let's say you still have this one. Let's say I have so you might not be, this one is not free of radical, or you might just put this, let's say you put this one like this. It's not free of radical. You have to resolve this radical before you determine the degree we are talking about. So now, if you look up now, what is the degree of number 2? Who can tell us the degree of number 2 now?
1, sir.
I'm
Sorry,
talking
4.
about degree. Degree is what?
Degree is 4.
Degree is
4.
4. Because the highest order there is 1. But the one that have highest order also carry the degree of 4. Are we together now?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Okay. So I won't bore us more than that. We can go ahead and read more on that. Now, look at the one of this. If you want to resolve this one, you need to first of all rewrite this by saying the square y, the x squared of raised to power what? Anybody?
1 over 3.
3.
1 over 3.
1 over 3.
1 over 3. Let's be careful. So if you have something like this in your work, you have to be careful to know the degree. So that is just by the way. But for today, we will quickly move to general solution of, let's say, the first order linear differential equation. I'll just solve some problem with us, and before we call it a day, if you still have time, okay, let's go ahead. When we're talking about any question so far, any question? No question. Silence means no question. Okay, let's look at the general problem or general solution. General solution. For the first order differential equation. First order. First order linear differential equation. Let me just, like I said, I'll just put DE. Okay. As we know that we have y prime for general problem plus p of x, y equals to q of x. Now, we will, the way I work, if you watch my video, I work with the example and I work with, if I have access, some of the likely question they normally give you guys, we'll also solve it together. And you yourself, you know that you're on the right track. But before then, let me show us, I believe, let me stop sharing to ask this question. How many of us have seen the past question before for this module, for this course? Just raise up your hands. On the chart, I will see. Okay, nobody. Wow. Okay, Kausara, okay, only one person. Okay, okay. Let's continue, don't worry. I'll be sharing some tips with us so that, remember, at this level, you are doing, I think you are not, even when they give you computer-based problem, don't give yourself computer-based solution. You have to solve it before you answer. I will show us some tips, then you yourself, you agree with me. So, and in this class, for your own information and for your own interest, it's not me, remember, you need to write. I don't know whether you watch the video later, make sure you write. That's why I'm writing. So in this case, we use what we call integrating factor. Integrating factor. So under the integrating factor, I'll call it, in this case, we'll be calling it I of x, which is the same thing as exponential. If you want the proof, check your books. You will see some of the proof there. P as the x, exponential raised to power integral of P of x dx. All these things are simple, like I told you, and what you need to do is just to write the y out of it. For us to write the y out of it, we have 1 all over integrating factor of x, and we have integral of I of x, then q of x, then the x plus c. So these are the things you write when it comes to general equation. If you've seen the question that said, what is write the general solution for this? These are the things they ask you to solve. So how do we solve them? Let's look at the question, then we move on. Example 1. On the example 1, number 1 says, y prime plus 2y equals to 2 exponential raised to x. So the first thing you need to do is to identify your general problem. The general solution says, don't forget, our general solution says y prime plus p of x, right? Then p of xy equals to q of x. Now, where in this case now, who can tell us what is p of x? From our equation, let's call this one equation 1. Equation 1, what is your p of x?
2y.
Oh, 2y? No.
Yeah.
Your p of x is equals to 2.
So
It's not 2y. Remember, only p of x is the one I asked. I'm not saying what is p of xy.
Okay.
Are you getting the difference now?
Yes.
So, let's move on. Then what is our q of x?
Two.
No, it's 2 exponential of x,
Shall
because
x.
it must contain that x. It must contain everything there, because remember, in this case, they all together. Q of x, they are all together. They said everything in this form, everything here. Let me use this pen. Everything here, they are the one talking about. Assuming we have another y here, you can now say 2 exponential x. But in this case, we only have q of x according to the formula. Is in our notes. So let's move on. So we need to first of all identify what is our I of x, which is our integrating factor. Your integrating factor of x is the same thing as the formula is exponential integral of p of x dx. You and I know that I know my p of x. All you need to do is just to substitute exponential integral of 2 dx. So if I want to integrate this, what am I going to have? Exponential 2 integral of the x. Anytime you integrate the x, what do you have? Anybody? Integrate the x, what do you have? Wow.
1.
No. When you integrate the x, you have 2. This is 2. Anytime you integrate the x is the same thing as x. You remember from calculus, which implies that my integrating factor of x is the same thing as exponential 2x. So you don't need to put plus c because that's not the final answer where we are going. So let's move on. So we have to go back to the y. Our y solution says I 1 all over integrating factor of x, which is same thing as integral of I of x, then q of x dx, plus c So in this case now, what are the things do I need to do? I know I have my p of x. I know my I of x. I know my integrating factor. Substitute them. So we have 1 all over exponential 2x. Then put it in brackets. Integral of exponential 2x is here. Dot multiplied by q of x is, our q of x is 2
Exponential 2x.
exponential x, not 2x. Don't forget the x plus c. You cannot leave your answer this way because you need to resolve it. That's why they call it, you need to calculate that general solution. Always remember, integral is there. You need to solve the one of the integral first. So how do I solve the one of the integral? Y equals to 1 all over exponential 2x. I can take the 2 out. 2 is constant. Then let me solve it. Remember, from the law of indices, anytime you have a raised to power x multiplied by a raised to power y is the same thing as a raised to power x plus y.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. We apply the same rule here. So we have exponential 2x plus x, which is what? 3x. Take notes. Exponential 3x dx plus c. So the next thing is we need to solve them. How do we resolve this problem? According to your calculus.
I have questions.
Please mute yourself or else I'll kick you out of the class. So if you have questions, raise up your hand. I will see it here. 2. Now let's integrate. I believe you need to go and revise your calculus, please. It is very important at this point. Integrate exponential 3x. Anybody? When you integrate exponential 3x, what do you have? Anybody? You have exponential 3x over 3. Everything plus c. Exponential 3s over 3 plus c. So this is what we have, and so at the end of the day, what we need to do is just to factorize, take it like this, 2 over 3 out, then we can now bring in, when you take 2 over 3, 2 over 3 is out now. When you take 2 over 3 out, what do you have? You have what we call, you can now use exponential 2, 3 over x divided by exponential 2x plus c all over exponential 2x. That is, you use that one to open the bracket. So when you use it to open the bracket, what are the things that comments that you need to do? According to the law of indices, the law of indices make us to understand that anytime when I have 1 over x, it's the same thing as, we know, is the same thing as what? S raised to power minus 1. So I can change this one to be in the same form. And anytime you have a raised to power x divided by a raised to power y, is the same thing as a raised to power x minus y. So I can go ahead and say y equals to 2 over 3. So this one will be 3x minus 2x plus c exponential minus 2x. Any question?
No, sir.
Any question? Okay, let's proceed. So we can now go ahead by saying y equals to 2 over 3. Our general equation is y equals to 2 over 3. Then exponential what?
By x.
Exponential x, thank you, plus c raised to power minus 2x. So in this case now, we can call our general, we can call this one our general solution.
Solution.
We can call any question. Does it relate to? Let me stop sharing. Hello, guys. Any question?
I understand, sir.
Please mute yourself. Don't worry. If you don't mute yourself, I will just send you out of the class, and that's the end, because you are disturbing our peace. Priscilla, that's the last warning for you. So, Ashore, what's your question? Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, please.
I've done that, sir. So I was lost when you were trying to explain from the integration. The connectivity is poor, so I cannot get what you are trying to explain.
Okay, but you are there now.
Hello, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Okay, mute yourself. Let me quickly go over it. And that's why some of you guys, all of you have to go back to your calculus and revise. When I integrate sine, when I integrate cosine, when I integrate exponential, when I integrate log, at what point is exponential of ln cancel ln? You need to know that. Okay, I'll show you some things as time goes on. One of the questions that came in your exam in 2017 or thereabout, that's question 1 there. But let's move on. Are we tired?
No, sir.
Okay, let's look at number 2. In case you have x, y prime plus 4y equals to 2 exponential 3. Can you see my screen?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm just writing. Can you see it now?
You can see it now, sir.
Okay, thank you. So when you have something like this, remember your formula, you remember your equation. Our equation says, for us to solve this problem, our equation says y prime plus p of x, y equals to q of x. So it simply means the equation is telling us that nothing must be attached to y prime. Nothing must attach to y prime. Anywhere you see y prime must stand alone. So we need to divide through by x or anything that is attached to y prime. So let's write divide through by x. Divide through by x. That is, I have y prime divided by x plus 4 over xy equals 2x raised to power 3
Divide x
over x. So this s go with this, then this one of the s go here, remain true. So you rewrite this equation to be y prime plus 4 over x,
4.
y, please mute yourself unless I ask otherwise, equals 2x squared. Now, you agree with me if I asked you, in this case now, what is our p of x? Anybody?
4 over x.
4 over x.
Thank you. Your p of x is 4 over x. Then, what is our q of x?
2x squared.
2x squared.
2x squared. Thank you. So from here, we can now proceed. Once you have this, remember, you need to know, nobody will give you this formula. You have to know all of these things. Integrating factor. We have integrating factor to be what? Exponential integral of p of x dx. So what is, I know my p of x already, I can substitute. My p of x is the same thing as 4 over x dx. So I need to first of all resolve this one before I substitute into the general formulas. So how do we integrate this? Remember, according to the law of integration, you can say that exponential for integral of 1 all over x dx. So how do we, what's the answer for this? Anybody? Hello? Are we there? When you integrate anytime you are integrating 1 all over x, the x is the same thing as ln x. Please take note of that.
Yes, sir.
When you integrate 1 all over x, the x is the same thing as ln of x. Can I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So anytime you are integrating 1 all over s is the same thing as ln x. So you put this one there, ln x. But you have to be careful. You remember, according to the law, when you have n log x, what does it mean? You can see all these things that you learn in your first year is the same thing as log s raised to power n. You remember this one too? So it's the same thing that is happening here. We have to do it. We have to say a exponential ln s raised to power 4. And according to the law, anytime you have exponential ln x is always equals to x. That is, the exponential will cancel the ln. So please take note of all these key points. The exponential will cancel the ln. And once exponential cancel the ln, s remains. So we proceed. At the end of the day, we have here s raised to power 4. That is, our I of x is the same thing as s raised to power 4. Then we can now proceed and go to our equation. Let's go to our general equation. When you go to your general equation, you have y equals 1 all over ln x. Integral of I of x, q of x, the x plus c. By the time you continue to write this formula, this general equation, by the time you continue to write it, it will be part of you. Then from then you will be able to do more. So here we have y equals to, what is our integrating factor? Is 1 all over what? X raised to power what? Anybody?
X raised to power 4.
Okay. S raised to power 4. So s raised to power 4, we have it here. So it's the same thing as integral of s raised to power 4 multiplied by, what is our q of x?
Two x square.
2x squared.
Thank you. Plus c. So in this case now, we can go ahead and resolve this matter by saying my y is equals to 1 all over s raised to power 4. Then take your 2 out. Don't disturb yourself with that. Then, we have s raised to power 4 dot s raised to power 2, everything the x, right? So I can add this together plus c. When you add it together, you have y equals to 1 all over s raised to power 4 in bracket 2 integral of s raised to power 6 dx plus c. So when you integrate s raised to power 6, what do you have? Anybody?
X raised to power 6 over 6.
No.
S over 7 over 7.
Please remember, the law of integration is this. When you have, let's say y equals to s raised to power n, and when they are asked to integrate this, it simply means when you are integrating x raised to power n, the x is the same thing as s raised to power n plus 1 all over n plus 1. plus C. Please, can you please mute it? Are you getting the point now? It's going to be S raised to power n plus n. So you have to know this. These are the fundamental you need to master. Please mute yourself.
I'm here. I don't like it. Where's the
Damilola, that's the last warning. Next time I'll put you on waiting room. Thank you. So 1 all over x raised to the power 4. Here we have 2. When you integrate this, you have s raised to the power 7 divided by 7. Everything plus c. Everything plus c. So at the end of the day, you can take it out by saying y equals to 1 over s raised to the power 4, which means 2 over 7 in brackets s raised to the power 7 plus c. Open the brackets with your, if you open the brackets very well, multiply everything by x raised to the power 4. Take you have it to be 2 over 7 in brackets s raised to the power 7 divided by s raised to the power 4 plus c over s raised to the power 4. The same way we did the other time, you can also put it this way, 2 over 7 in bracket. Here cancel, remain 3. You have s raised to the power 3 plus c into s raised to the power minus 4. But remember, constant multiplied by constant will still continue to be constant. That's why in most cases we just consider, we don't consider this, we just put it this way, and we call this one our general equation. This is a general equation. You can also check the general equation to the general solution rather. You can also check by substituting, our y. Remember, this is equals to y. This is your y. Our y is equals to this. You can differentiate this y to check whether you are right or you are wrong. I can check it by putting my y into the formula and see whether I'm going to get the first question, whether I'm going to get this. If I'm able to get this back, that means I'm right. I can cross-check. Let's just quickly do that so that you will know in case you are doubting. So we have our y to be equals to 2 over 7 s raised to the power 3 plus c s raised to the power minus 4. Then differentiate it, y prime. Remember, when you are differentiating, let's say y equals to s raised to the power n. Our y prime is the same thing as n into s raised to the power n minus 1. That is the formula for differentiation, right? So if I'm differentiating this, what am I going to get? So I will have 2 over 7. Let's differentiate x. I have 3x squared plus c. When I differentiate what is inside, I have minus 4 as inside, then s raised to the power minus 5. So my y prime is the same thing as 6/7 s raised to power 2 plus, but remember, net minus times plus will be minus 4c exponential x raised to power minus 5 rather. I can call this one equation 1, and I call this one equation 2. Remember, I'm trying to check whether what I'm doing is right or wrong. So then, according to our equation, we are given the normal equation that we're working with is we have it to be, we can call it the general equation rather. The original question we are working with is xy prime plus 4y equals to 2s raised to power 3. So let's call this one equation 3. Then substitute. We can substitute equation 1 and 2 into 3. You know equation 1, you know equation 2, we put them into equation 3. That is, anywhere you see y prime, put all the y prime equation 2 there. So I have x, y prime is 6/7 s squared minus 4c s raised to power minus 5 plus 4 into y. Our y is what? Is equation 1. You know your y, can you? So we have y to be 2/7 s raised to power 3 plus c over s raised to power 4. So it must equals to s raised to power 3. That is, we must get the other side must equals to, these two sides must equal. This side must equals, this particular side must equals to 2 raised to power 3. Let's open the bracket and see whether we are going to get to s raised to power 3. So you and I know that we have 6/7 s raised to power 3. Because of this, I'm distributing this over them, minus 4c. Let me just put this one s raised to power 4 now, because this x will have canceled one of the x here, plus 8/7 s raised to power 3 plus 4c all over s raised to power 4 equals to s raised to power 3. This one cancel this. And I can add this, I can subtract this one plus this will give me 14/7, right? S raised to power 3 equals 2s raised to power 3. Now, how do I know? How many? 7 here, 1, 7 here, 2. So I have 2s raised to power 3. So we are successfully to confirm that this is correct. So,
Very correct, sir.
So in case you are doubting, you need to know how to check. You can see the way I check. So you can go ahead and lay your hands on as many questions as possible. This is a solution to the problem. Any question, please?
Yes, sir. One question, sir.
Go ahead.
Can you please scroll down? Yes. When we are opening the bracket with X.
Which of them?
The last bracket we opened.
Are you in the classroom or what?
Oh, sorry, sir.
If you are in the classroom.
Okay.
I'm
somewhere. Can you hear me now?
Go ahead.
Yes, I'm talking about the last bracket we opened when we were checking. That the X bracket, yes, 6/7 x squared minus 4c x is for minus 5. So when we are opening that, it seems I didn't get how the x.
It's very
6
simple.
over
I just make sure that I assume you. So remember that you have you have x multiplying 4c divided by s raised to power 5. Do you agree? You agree
Yes,
with this?
yes.
Then one
Yes, I
s
do.
will go, one s will remain here. So you have 4c
Okay.
over s raised to power 4.
Yes, I get it now. Thank you.
Okay. So any other question? Are we tired?
We are not
So,
tired, sir.
before you, you run over the class, sir, can you please just run over all the formulas again, like the general formula, so that you can just, you don't need to solve any
No,
question.
I will still solve some questions. Don't worry. By the time I solve another question now, you will have better idea. But one of the things you need to know. Note this. Notes. Write it down. Notes. Equation will be like this, of the nature of this P of x, y equals Q of x. You will see it in your book. It's a bit scattered like this. All right? This is the equation they're talking about. Now, we now said before you solve this problem, you must take note of this and this in your problem, in the equation you are given, in the problem they ask you to solve. You must take note of this. And also remember that this y prime must be alone. Nothing must be attached to it. So if they give you a question that is attached, you must be able to separate them. That is what this equation is talking about. Now, for us to solve this problem, we now said certain things have to come in. Number one thing that needs to come in when it comes to first order linear differential equation is integrating factor. Under the integrating factor, we call the same integrating factor, we call it IF, or it's the same thing as I of x. So the formula for us to solve integrating factor is now the I of x equals to exponential integral of P of x. This is the formula to solve it, the x. When you identify P of x, you now need to perform this. Are you following the step now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
You perform this one. After you now have your I of x, all you need to do is now to go ahead and substitute it to y equals 1 all over I of x. Now in integral of I of x multiply by Q of x dx plus c. So this is what you now need. All what we are doing is just differential equation and integral. That was what we are doing. The only thing you need, what is my P of x? What is my Q of x? Make sure your equation is like this. Equation triangle. Make sure your equation is like this. Whether you are given, because that is your first duty. Let me call it equation triangle. Your equation must be in form of equation triangle. Once you can take note of these 3 steps, then you are good to go. All you need to do is just to analyze. Okay, let's solve another question. I know our time is up, right? Or we can continue.
Yes, sir. Let's continue.
Yes,
sir.
One more question.
Okay, what's the question?
No, I meant you can take one more question, sir.
Myself, don't worry. I have enough questions. For those of us that are tired, you can leave the class, you watch the recording. But if you are not tired, let's continue. So now we have this. Or do we have anybody that have another class after that? Nobody. Okay, let's continue. X minus 2 y prime plus y equals to x squared minus 4. Now, you need to be careful at this point too. Who can tell us what to do first?
We divide by x minus 2.
Divide.
Exactly, that's just the simple truth. Divide through by x minus 2. Let's write it down. Divide through by x minus 2.
X minus 2.
So when I divide through by x minus 2, I have x minus 2 y prime over x minus 2. Right?
Yes, sir.
Plus y over x minus 2 equals, now remember x squared minus 4, we can break it down, but let me just write x squared minus 4 divided by s minus 2. So how do we break it down?
Different
This
two
cancel
squares.
this. You have y prime plus y over s minus 2 equals, how do we break this one down?
Different of two squares.
X minus
Different
X
of
plus
2
2, S
squares.
minus 2.
Thank you. Different of 2 squares, you have x plus 2 and s minus 2. Correct. Divided by s minus 2. So this guy goes with this. So what do we have? We have it to be y prime plus 1 all over s minus 2. Always be careful here to separate y from x equals s plus 2. Now, you can see that this equation now is of the same format with what I explained in equation triangle. That is your first assignment. You must first of all do that. When you finish it, then you move on. The next thing is identify what is your P of X.
1 over s minus 2.
Exactly. 1 all over x minus 2. Then our Q of X is equal
X
to
plus
what?
2.
Is
X
what?
plus 2.
S plus 2.
S plus
X
2.
plus 2.
It's so simple. Now, we know the formula. What is the formula for integrating factor? Exponential integral of P of X dx. Which is the same thing as exponential integral of, what is our P of X in this case? 1 all over
1
x
over x minus 2.
dx.
Dx.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Let me move so that people will know. So at the end of the day, the next thing is to do what? How do you integrate? Your concern should not be exponential. Your concern should be what is inside the bracket, inside the integral. How do you integrate 1 over x minus 2?
Ln of x.
That's all. It's just the integral of ln x minus 2. Don't disturb yourself. These are go and check your standard textbook. You will see them there. And I know that anytime I have exponential ln x, it's the same thing as x, right?
X.
So when
Yes,
I
sir.
have exponential ln x minus 2, what's the answer? It's x minus 2. That's the answer. So your I of x is a law. It's not me that created it. It's a proof. For those of us in mathematics, you still come across some of those problems. It's s minus 2. So then yes, any question? Are we together?
No question.
Yes, sir.
Now, if you look at this, the next thing is we finish this. We finish this. We need this. Substitute everything into this. That's all. If you are substituting, write the general formula, write your y formula. Your y is equals to 1 all over I of x in integral of I of x, q of x, dx plus c. So what is my I of x? 1 all over
X minus 2.
s minus 2
1 x minus 2
integral of s minus 2
x minus 2
multiplied by q of x is what? What is my q
X
of
plus
x?
2. X plus 2.
S plus 2 dx plus c.
c.
Now, remember that it's the same difference of 2 square. We remember we can go back to difference of 2 square. 1 all over s minus 2. Please don't make mistake. Don't say this one cancel this, because this one carry integral. There's no integral in this. We are treating this one as a constant. So you have to be careful. So we go back to s squared minus 4, because when you open the bracket, that's what you get, plus c.
Yes, sir.
Then I can go ahead by saying, let me integrate what is inside now. And I integrate what is inside, I'll have x raised to power 3 over 3 minus 4x. You remember according to the integration.
Yes,
Plus
sir.
c.
Yes, sir.
So at the end of the day, what is the solution? The general solution is this. You don't need to bother yourself, because it's simple. If I'm bringing this one in now, it has nothing to do with what is there. Any question?
Understood, sir.
You said?
I said it's
Understood,
understood,
sir.
sir.
So these are the different types of question you can come across. But I have
Question, sir.
another one. Probably by next class, I will try and solve I'll solve one of the, yes, Aziz, go ahead.
Okay, sir. The question is, so to know how to know when to apply this formula. So, sir, is it that this is linear? How do we know when it is linear?
Now, if you check your book very well, there's places that chapter they mentioned about linear differential, first order linear differential equation. You know the definition of linear and non-linear. By the time we get to non-linear, you will know that this is complex. That's why you'll be talking about non-linear differential equation. And that one is simple. We'll talk about it. Then, how do I know that I'm into it? You will know by the time you are doing the one of integrating factor that I was talking about. It's pretty simple. Let me see whether I can show you guys. Okay, not this. Let me just see. Okay, look at this first question. This is one of the questions they asked. Look at this. What did they ask you to do?
We should find the general solution.
You see, they will ask you, look at this. Solution of differential equation. We'll be talking about some of those things, one after the other. Now, you have a confidence now that you understand what they are saying here a bit, right?
Yes, sir.
And this one too, you understand what they are saying, and this one you understand what they are saying. So that's way me personally, I do my work. So I will teach you so that you can know when the problem, what they said, do this, you know. So by the time we get there, don't worry, we will enjoy that. We'll do it together and all of us will be fine. So let's, before we call it a day, but I still have 2 questions. Can we go ahead or stop?
All right, sir. You can go ahead, sir.
Okay, guys, let's continue. So in next class, please tell your friend, tell your enemy that they should come. I believe this is not a wasted time. You guys are getting something. Okay,
Yes, sir.
number 4, right? Is it number 3 or 4?
No, it's
Number 4.
Number 3.
Number 4. So we have 4y minus 3x dx plus 5x dy. They can give you something like this and ask you to find the general solution. So who can tell me what to do at this point? You can see I'm solved. Yes.
At the first thing, we have to remove the bracket first.
Okay. No, you don't need to remove the bracket. Bracket is not the problem here. All you need to know.
Differentiate the first one.
You said what? Say it louder.
You differentiate the 4y minus 3x.
Correct. And you get what?
You get y prime.
No. So that is beautiful 0.
Yeah.
So what you need to do when you are encountered with
Y
something
minus
like
3.
this. Somebody is talking underground?
Yes, I said y minus 3.
No. So please mute yourself. I can see. Solution now. What you need to do is we need y prime. And we know our y prime is the y over the x, right?
I got this.
Mute yourself for the last Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, now we can hear you, sir.
Okay. So what you need to do is divide through by the x. Divide through by the x. So when you divide through by the x, you have 4y minus 3x the x over the x plus 5x the y over the x equals 0 over the x. Divide through by the x. So at the end of the day, this goes with this. So you have 4y minus 3x plus 5x y prime equals to 0. It's the y, the x is the same thing. So is that how we're going to do it? No. We need to try and match everything together, rewrite everything, and I can say that you need to remember that we need q of x. I believe you know. And q of x must contain in x. So please mute yourself for those of us opening the book, opening whatever. So we have 5x y prime plus 4y equals to 3x. We have to take that 3x to the other side because we need q of x, and our formula says the general principle says y prime plus p of x, y equals to q of x. So in this case now, our y prime must be alone. For us to make y prime to be alone, you had to do what? Divide through, let's call this one equation 1. Divide equation 1 divide equation 1 by 5x. So I'm going to have 5x y prime over 5x plus 4y over 5x, okay, equals to 3s over 5x. So at the end of the day, what do I have here? This go with this. I have y prime plus 4 over 5x in brackets y equals s cancel x. You have 3 over 5. So who can tell us our P of x? Our P of x is equal to what, please?
4 over 5
over 5x.
over 5x.
4 over 5x. I can see you're getting it now. Then our q of x is what?
3 over 5.
Thank you. Then we can now go ahead and calculate our integrating factor, which is integral of, please, when you are solving your problem in your exam, I don't know, I'm not sure whether you are using, I think you are using a computer, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Make sure you write this formula down while you are solving it so that you can remember. The more you solve, the more you remember. Because we are going to be using integrating factor virtually all through. So please take note of that. It's the same thing as exponential of 4 over 5x dx. Please be careful why you are saying this. If I'm taking for what is, you agree with me, is the same thing as 4 over 5 integral of 1 all over x dx. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Please, who is not in agreement with us? Please. Okay, somebody's.
So you factor out the constant.
Okay.
And then integrate x.
Yes.
Is that what you did, sir?
You said what?
I said you factor out the constant and then integrate x.
Exactly. You factorize the constant and integrate the x. And don't forget the x in this case is not ordinary x, is 1 over x.
Yes, sir.
So if you integrate this one, you have exponential of 4 over 5 ln x.
Ln x.
Do you agree with me?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then you also agree that the same thing is integral of ln s raised to power 4 over 5. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Aha. So at the end of the day, our ix is s raised to power 4 over 5. That is our is. Now that we know our ix, how do we resolve them? We can go to your y equation by saying 1 all over x raised to power 4 over 5 in brackets. Or do we need to write the formula again? Let's write the formula, please. 1 all over I of x in bracket I of x, q of x, the x plus c. Then we can now say y is equals to 1 all over s raised to power 4 over 5 integral of s raised to power 4 over 5 dot, what is the q? Our q of x is what?
3 over 5.
3 over 5. Everything the x plus c. We can take 3 over 5 out by saying 1 all over s raised to power 4 over 5, 3 over 5 outside, integral of s raised to power 4 over 5. So when you integrate this, what do you have, please? Anybody? You should be able to integrate this faster, please. When you have to integrate x raised to power 4 over 5, it's the same thing as s raised to power 4 over 5 plus 1 divided by 4 over 5 plus 1. So what's the answer?
Will it be x raised to power 5 over 5?
Plus 1, bro.
Okay,
All you need to do is just to find the LCM, 4 plus 1.
Fine.
That would be s raised to 9 over 5.
9 over
Divided by
5.
9 over 5.
This is 1. 1 multiplied by 4. 4.
Yeah.
This is 5 plus 5. 9 over 5. Simple thing, simple mathematics, so guys. You need to go and revise. We are still doing first order, remember, and it's still linear. Some of us told me initially that you've read your book 20 pages, 30 pages, and yet. Hey, okay. So what are you reading?
I'm one of the people that says so, and I'm following you, sir. I was on that 9 over 5.
Okay, no problem. I pray so. So if you want to, I'm just trying to resolve x raised to power 4 over 5 now. So we have 9 over 5 divided by 9. If you want to rationalize this one, if you want to bring this one to up.
5 over 9.
5 over 9. Thank you. 5 over 9. So this is just a digress. It's not part of the solution. I'm just using this one to explain how we come across this. So we can go back to our equation and write. If you want to write it, it will be y is equals to 1 all over s raised to power 4 over 5, 3 over 5, multiplied by s raised to power 9 over 5, dot 5 over 9, plus c. 5 here cancel here, 3 here cancel here 3. So you have with me by saying the final here will be s raised to power 9 over 5 divided by 3 s raised to power 4 over 5 plus c over s raised to power 4 over 5. You remember this is 4 over 5, right? When you multiply through, you have this. So when you resolve this one, yes, you have 1 all over 3x. Go and solve it how I got that one, plus c. That is when you add it, you remember law of indices. This is your y. All I did here is just to do s raised to 9 over 5 minus 4/5. So when you resolve it, you will have 5/5, x raised to 5/5, which is x raised to power 1, which is equal to x. That is what leads to this one. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
So, and this is equal to s to power 1. Any questions so far? So the last phase that I will quickly share with you, by next class I will solve that question that I show you. Let me just solve the last one here. I also have some other things to do, but because I know we've wasted a lot of time, some of us came late, but please, next class, let's come on time. And the explanation also important for us. Thank you, Charles. Okay, so now look at this. They ask you to write general solution for this. How do you go about it? Anybody? Now, when you have something like this, you do what we call it. You cross multiply first. Okay, don't let me use this one. This is the question. So we have the y, the x is equals to x squared minus y over x. So let's cross multiply. Because remember, we need the x, we need p. Always remember at the back of your mind, you need p of x, you need q of x. With this one now, you might not get it. So the best thing is to rewrite them. When you cross multiply, you have x dy equals x squared minus y dx. So with this one,
Hello, sir.
yes, right.
Okay. What I tried to do when I saw it, I divided by I left the left hand side as y prime. Then I divided the right hand side. So I had a x minus y over x, which can be written as so with that, if I arrange it, I'll have y prime plus 1 over 1 x and 1 over xy equals to x, which makes it look like the general equation.
Yes, it's possible that way. Fantastic. But there are some questions that might not be able, you might not be able to do that. But there are few of them. We have, in mathematics, you have different ways of solving problems.
Yes, sir.
I'm not saying my own method is the best. You can also discover another method of solving it. It's all well and good. But in a general way, I'm just using this method so that to accommodate every one of us. Now, when you now have this, the next thing we need to do, that we still need to divide through by x, divide through by the x, divide through by the x. When you divide through by the x, you remember that we are still going back to your method. This one will go with this. So we have x, we can say x, y prime equals x squared minus y. And I know the y must be, remember the general equation says y prime plus p of x y equals to q of x. So it simply means y prime and y must always go together. That is the simple truth. So I will have to move my y to the y prime. So I will write y prime minus, when the minus cross to the other side turns to positive, y equals to x squared. And I know again that y prime must be alone. No attachments must be with y prime. So I will divide through
by x.
By x, thank you. Divide through by x. When I divide through by x, I will have what we call
Y prime.
When I divide through by x, I will have x y prime over x plus y over x equals to s squared over x. So this goes with this. I have y prime plus 1 all over x, y, don't forget that, equals s cancel x, you have x. So you can see it's resemble what we are looking for. What is our p of x in this case?
1 over x.
1 over x.
1 over x.
What is our q of x?
X.
X.
X. Ibrahim, did you get the same thing?
Yes, I did, sir.
So that's the way to go. Then you can now go ahead and solve your I. Your I is exponential of integral of p of x dx. Remember, integral, you need to just substitute. This is one of the simplest question over x dx. So you have what? Integral of ln x, which is equals to what? X. Then our y, we know our y to be 1 all over I of x, open the bracket, integral of I of x, q of x, dx plus c. So I can substitute. My y is equals to 1 all over x, because I've calculated that, and I have integral of x. What is my q of x? Is x dx.
X.
Plus c. But when you look at the question initially, you'll be like, oh, how do I solve this problem? So we have y equals to 1 all over x. Let's open our integral of x squared dx plus c. So which is 1 all over x in brackets x raised to power 3 over 3, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Everything plus c. So when you bring that y, our y will be what now? 1 all over 3. Take it out. Then s raised to power 3 over s raised to power 2 plus c into s raised to power 1. It's ordinary x.
Just x.
So this cancel this, you have 2. So our y will be 1 all over 3 s raised to power 2 plus c s raised to power minus 1. Any question? So I believe I can stop sharing now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I hope the class is interesting.
Very interesting, sir.
Very interesting.
So that's just the beginning. That's just a kind of introduction to the class. Let's try as much as possible to yes, Femi, you want to ask a question? Go ahead. Along Femi. Any question?
Yes, sir. During the class, I think there was latency from my end. Like there was no connectivity from my end.
Don't
So
worry.
I
I
have to
will
come
upload
back.
immediately. I will work on the video, then I will upload it for you guys. Then you can enjoy the video. I will add the video to. I will upload it through the YouTube. From YouTube, I'll put it on put the link on your LMS. you can download, or you will still see it on your, I will put it on your WhatsApp. So if you are not on WhatsApp group, make sure you join the WhatsApp group and invite your friends, your enemy, let them also join, please. It is very important.